How's it going, everybody? This is Maxwell McGee, and today we're checking out a demo for Glory and for Rome. And as you may have guessed, it's for Total War Rome 2. And to help me do that, I'm joined by Al Bickham, Studio Communications Manager at Creative Assembly. Al,
hello.
Thank you for sitting down with us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So tell us about what we're going to be seeing in this demo for Rome 2.
Okay, so what I'm playing through here is the Prologue, which is a kind of self-contained mini campaign that you get with Rome 2. It's kind of narrative-driven mini campaign. What it is it's your kind of first point of contact with the game. I mean, you can jump in and start kind of a grand campaign, play as any faction, dive in, go conquer the world. But the Prologue is it works as a kind of tutorial. So as you can see here, we're just looking around Italy. So it's all based in Italy during the Samnite Wars, and it holds your hand for the first few steps of playing Total War. So it leads you through the early stages of campaign game, and it teaches you how to do kind of basic battles.
So this is how it's going to play out, like in the final version of the game?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So this is actually, this is a full feature in the final game.
So we actually just powered through. There was a quick battle that took place before this one. You want to catch us up on what happened?
Yep, sure. So during the Prologue, you play as, we've got this kind of fictional general called Gaius Fulvius.
Yes.
Silanus. That's his name, right? Yeah, get that right. And basically, you're cast as him. So. And in the first, the Prologue opens with a battle, and in that battle, you're basically supporting a city siege that's happening against Rome. So you go in with some of your guys, and you're just a kind of minor commander at this point, and you help turn the tide of the battle. So more and more power starts getting given to you by the Senate, and you start to take control of the empire effectively. So what we're doing here is it's showing us around the campaign map, different features of the campaign map, and showing us the enemy lands here, so we know kind of who we're up against and what we're up against, really. So,
any sort of new features or new highlights that are being pointed out to us in this VO?
Well, sort of not right now. I mean, we're still in the kind of early narrative section and sort of a basic introduction to the campaign map. And so here, for example, it's teaching us how to move our army. So it's saying, stick your army here, and then we'll be blocking the road so the Samnites can't come up and just attack Rome straight away.
Because they can't go through all the woods and mountains.
Exactly. So all that's impassable terrain. There's Mount Vesuvius here, which is the big volcano that drowned Pompeii in lava. And on the other side of the land here, you've got a mountain thing, a series of mountains here. So yeah, basically, this mountain pass is the only accessible route to Rome from the south, and so that's the only way the Samnites can come. So right now, because my army's blocking that, they can't get in effectively. So I'm here guarding the gates of Rome effectively. So what it's doing now is teaching me how to recruit troops. So as long as you're in enemy territory in Rome 2, you can recruit troops. So this tab here is you literally recruit them directly to the army as long as you're in friendly territory. So I'm recruiting a troop. So you can see the army here is going into muster mode. You can see mustering the troops there, and
it's a nice little muster animation.
Exactly. It's like, come on, join the army, join us. So you can see here as well, it's going to cost us 1 turn to get those troops. Okay. So we'll sit there statically for a turn while So what we're going to do is end turn now, I think. Let's just see what the guy has to say. Right. So yeah, he's just giving us some advice on how to play the game. Literally end turn. So there we go. So we end turn, and then of course it's the enemy faction's turn. So in this case, it's just the Samnites. But in the full game, of course, all the other factions are going to take their turns at this point. So, and in the final game as well, you can see around the edges the fog of war here. So that's all unexplored land, and of course you can kind of push into that as you move out into the world and explore new territories.
So as we're sort of building up our army here, something I'm interested to know more about is sort of where you guys at Creative Assembly decide to sort of draw the line in terms of historical accuracy when working on these games. Because I know sometimes having a strict adherence to what was in the history books doesn't necessarily make for the most enjoyable gameplay experience.
Absolutely, yeah. There is a tension between the two sometimes. Now we don't really we prefer to use the term historical authenticity actually, because basically we're as accurate as we can be with. You look at these units and you see them on the battlefield, and they're wearing all the right gear, according to the history books, and the research the enormous amount of research we do, in pre-production as we're making the game. But of course, as soon as you put the game in the player's hands, we start the player at a historically accurate starting point. But then, of course, the whole game becomes counterfactual because you go out and carve your own empire. You know, you don't necessarily have to kick off a war with Carthage and, you know, do the Punic Wars. You know, you can actually, you know, you can sit there and go, actually, I quite like Carthage. I'm going to trade with them. You know, they're going to bring breads and sweetmeats to my door. So, you know, you don't have to just go and bosh everybody, and you can push off in another direction. You know, maybe in our campaign as Rome, we'll decide to sort of push east. You know, so it's, you know, it's a sort of combination of, you know, historical accuracy in terms of certain features, but not in others really. So, and if there is, you know, a point that happens, a point that occurs where you so we see the city building.
I know, that's
quite
I
nice.
really like that.
Lovely little feature, yeah. So, you know, if there are points where, you know, gameplay is warring with historical accuracy, we let gameplay win, you know, because it's a game and it's designed to be enjoyable, you know. So we don't want to, you know, we don't want to make the game boring just to be slavish followers of history. But, you know, that said, we're as authentic as we can be where we can be.
Is there any room for like fantasy in terms of like unit designs or unit capabilities?
Yeah, well, what we base our units on is if they're mentioned in a history book somewhere, we treat them as fair game. So, you know, we have some kind of rare and unusual stuff, you know, that may seem fantastical, but as long as it's been mentioned somewhere by some Roman historian, then, you know, we think it's fair game. Obviously, we focus on the core stuff, you know, we focus on the, you know, your Greek hoplites, for example, and your Roman hastati, and your velites, and your triarii, you know. So we have our core units which make up the armies, but, you know, they're also interesting elite units. So. Right, so what's he asking me to do here? We need to keep recruiting more troops.
I think we have to recruit our horsemen, and then we'll be ready for the siege.
I think you're right, yeah, that'll be good. Right.
So we did some, we kind of talked over some of those city improvements there a couple of turns back. You want to catch us up on those real fast?
Yeah, so what had happened in the previous siege, the city being damaged there, so the tutorial was explaining to us how we repair, you know, our cities. And once it was repaired, once the city was repaired, we could then, you know, build a new building. And in this case, what we did was we expanded the city so we could build a new barracks add-on, which enables us to improve our weapons and armor there. So.
Now I think you have to fortify.
Yeah.
Because they're about to roll up on us.
Yeah, I can't just go in and do it. He's asking me to fortify, isn't he? Right, so now this is a nice new system for Rome 2. What we have here is the stances. So we have force march. So force march is a great one. It, you know, increases your campaign movement speed, but it reduces your morale. Yeah. And it reduces
Hence the forced part.
Exactly. And what this means is if you're attacked while you're in force march, then you're fighting at 10% minus 10% morale, and you've got a massive 50% chance reduction of being able to anticipate enemy ambushes. So, you know, if you know, an enemy army, one of these enemy armies may sort of sit in the woods here and go into ambush stance. You know, we could do that. So we have, you know, the different stances here. Here's ambush here. So this will kind of stealth us on the map from other armies. And if another army enters an ambushing army's zone of control, then the ambushing army gets the chance to trigger an ambush. So, and that
it's not just automatic. You have the choice whether or not you want to spring the trap.
Exactly. And there are certain percentages. There are certain sort of general's abilities, for example, that can increase your, you know, your spotting of ambushes or increase your ability to actually perform ambushes. So, but here I'm just going to go into fortification mode. So what you're going to see is a nice little animation here. So what this army has done now is created a fortification around itself, and you'll see that on the battle map now. So what we're going to do is going to end turn. So we've anticipated this guy's attack.
And we are going to hold the line.
We will hold the line. Yeah, it's just like Russell Crowe. So I'm going to jump into the battle now.
I love that dude with the line on his head.
Yeah, and he's got, you can see his mask as well. They have these metal sort of fold-down masks. Yeah, the standard, that's the heart of the Legion, the battle standard. So this is another of the tutorial battles in the prologue, and this is going to teach us about how to use skirmishers amongst other things.
Okay.
It's quite rainy today, so obviously we have like tons of different, you know, weather effects in Rome too. So, you know, you go into snowy mountain pass areas like the Alps, like Hannibal crossing the Alps with his elephants, and you know, you can see all those kind of different weather effects. So, but I'm just going to scoot in on these guys so you can see some of the detail in our you know, our models in Rome 2. They are just absolutely stunning, and every one of these models. You know, when it's generated at the start of the battle, there's a ton of different variants of helmets and faces, and you know, different shield patterns and things like that.
It's not just an army of cutouts, basically.
Exactly. You know, our aim is to try and make these feel and look individual. You know, and you can see the sort of wear and tear and the damage and the dirt on the shields there. You know, that's randomly generated. So you know, there's sort of, you know, this sense that these guys have, you know, they're experienced warriors. You know, they're not just there in their sort of super shiny armor sort of thing. So we're in deployment mode at the moment. So what I'm going to do is bring out you can see the deployment green line just here, which is the limits of my deployment zone. So I'm going to bring I'm going to deploy my slingers there.
And the enemy deployment zone being in the red box.
Exactly, it's off here somewhere, so we can't see them yet because they're hidden from view. So I'm going to bring my core infantry there. I've got a little unit of Italian swordsmen here who are quite nice. So is it those guys? No, it's these guys here. Right, so I'm going to bring these right up here because what I want to do is what I'm planning to do is run them
sneak
over
them
here.
in the woods then.
Yeah, pop them in the woods here and hide them from enemy view, so they'll make a nice little flanking force for me. And of course I've got my general as well, and generals, you know, they cast a kind of morale buff around them, so it's good to keep them near your troops. So. And then you can see the little fortified camp that we have here. So, so the idea is we've got to stop the enemy capturing it. That's the capture point there. Okay. So I think we're ready to start. So let's go in.
Send some scouts forward to observe.
Right, so Silanus is telling me to send some scouts forward. So we get a little bit of tutorial about the new line of sight system here. So what we want to do is use these guys as scouts. So I'm going to send. And now, currently, because there's a hill blocking our view, you can see these symbols up here means we're hidden from view from the enemy. Okay. So that's what that little eye means there. And I'm going to, just to make sure they stay hidden, I'm going to hide my little Italian swordsman here. So get them moving. Let's get my skirmishers moving. I'm going to march them at double speed over here. And I'm going to hold my main force back here and, you know, treat this as my back line, effectively. So, it looks like I've caught a glimpse of the enemy here. So I've uncovered these guys. What are they? They're a mob. A mob of Samnites with their little daggers. Ah, yes, okay, they're starting to pop in.
Oh, there we go. There's a few more units.
See, that's the line of sight system at work. You know, now we've come to the brow of this little hill here. We've seen over, and we've been able to see these guys. And you know.
So then, how did line of sight work previously?
Well, the only line of sight system we really had was forests. So you could conceal units in forests. But now, you know, anything that blocks line of sight blocks your ability to see the enemy. So, and that makes a big difference with in battles. You know, you get more of a dynamic kind of battle because you know you can play, you know, battles to work that to your advantage. So, for example, you know, you've got some units behind a hill, and your enemy's on the other side of the hill, right? And then you take your scout unit, one of your skirmish units, maybe pop them up in a forest on top of that hill, so you can see the enemy, but he can't see your guys behind the hill. So you're like, right, plan my ambush, you know. And maybe you want to use your skirmishers to draw them out into a position where they can be flanked by those hidden troops. So, you know, it's game. You know, the battle gameplay is just that bit more kind of, you know, tactical and intricate now. So, right, I've been gifted some horses here, which is quite nice. They've just moved onto the battlefield. Now, cavalry are great, obviously. You know, they're fast-moving, they're high-mass, they're hard-hitting. But, of course, the enemy's going to react to them if they see them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move them through this entire tree line here and keep them hidden from enemy view. Now, if I run them, I could run them at double speed, but they'll become apparent to the enemy. You know, they'll give themselves away. So I'm just going to keep them walking slowly and keep them as my kind of secret hidden weapon. So. Now, I get my skirmishers over here, get a scout on. Right, okay, so these guys are popping into view again, because I've been down below behind the hill, you see. So now what I'm going to do is turn skirmish mode on. Now what these guys will do is if I tell them to attack, they'll take up the furthest possible attack position they can take, and they'll start using their slings. Here we go, let's see the animations that work there. See, they're great. Now, of course, these guys are getting hit now. Now, if they come any closer, if they come within a certain range, what my skirmishers will do...
They sort of automatically switch over.
Exactly. They'll keep range. So, now, there we go, you see. So what they're going to do is take up a position further away and then attack again. Although those guys are running, so I'm going to get moving quickly because I don't really want to get these guys in hand-to-hand combat. That's not what they're good at. Although they've stopped now, so let's have another go. So you get this, you know, this fun interplay of skirmishes to start with, where, you know, you can draw enemy units out. I'm a bit overpowered. I'm underpowered here because they've got three units against mine. So I'm going to start losing troops pretty quickly. What I'm going to do is pull my skirmishers back to near my Italian swordsman and then flank one of his units. Oh yeah, I've lost a lot of guys in this unit. Can you see them? They look like they might be breaking soon. Right, how are my horsemen doing?
Still going to be a while before they hit the
they'll be a little while. So what I'm going to do is kind of queue them up in a nice formation here. And then they'll be at a good position to flank. Right. Oh, I didn't hide these guys in the forest properly. Look, they're poking out at the edge.
Oh.
So, they've been rumbled. But, right, now, okay, this unit's broken. It's running. I'm going to try and rally it. I'm going to bring my general over and see if we can get their morale back up. Okay, we're doing well here. We've got one unit on the way down, so I'm going to start firing that one. So I'm going to hit rally. Let's see if that works. It may take a little time to work. It may not work at all. They may just be too far gone. They may have just lost too many men. Yeah, it looks like they're running for it. Okay, come on, horses. Come on.
Our men start to rout.
Right, now, you see, I've drawn this unit out. Now, they are at the mercy of my Hastati now.
From the rest of their troops.
So I'm going to turn my guns back on them, my slingers, I should say, and then hit them with my Hastati, who are, you know, heavy infantry, so they should make mincemeat of these guys. Oh, there we go, yeah. They won't take long. See, they're breaking already. They've gone. Right, let's get these guys back in formation. I love this, playing as Romans, you know, you're like, it's all about the formation, it's all about the order, keeping things ordered. Right.
That's another point I'm actually interested to know more about, is sort of how much overlap is there between the Roman team and like the Shogun team?
So it's essentially the same team. It's the you know, it's the Total War team. So, you know, we finished Shogun 2. Mm-hmm. Oh, these guys have rallied. Look, they're back. Hey!
They needed to get over there.
Yeah.
You know, take a breather on the hill.
Exactly. Yeah. Have a chocky bar. A bit of a sit down. Yeah, they're all good now.
So how does like designing for this game differ then from building Shogun?
Well, you know, at the start of any Total War project, you know, we have our sort of pre-production phase where the game design document comes together. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I seem to have picked off most of his skirmishes now, which is quite nice. I'm just gonna get my guys moving over here and see if I can draw out the core of his army here. So yeah, you know. Oh look.
Uh-oh. They're just hanging out.
They are just hanging out.
They look primed to get run over
by a
bunch of horses.
Yeah, I'm going to put these into their flying wedge formation and motor them down here. So, oh yeah, we can see the rest of his army here now. So yeah, essentially you know, we go into a sort of pre-production phase, and that's when the game design document really comes together. We always look at, you know, the previous game, what we could have done better, you know, ways we can improve existing systems, and you know, and kick around a lot of ideas about how, you know, what we'd really like to do, what kind of effect we'd like certain things in the game to have, and you know, we always talk about new systems and new features, and you know, what we can improve in the game overall. And also, you know, any period we sort of deal with is, you know, you have to build kind of systems in the game and features of the game that are relevant to that period, you know. So, you know, in Rome 2, for example, how can you do a game set in the Roman Empire without, you know, the idea of politics involved in some way, you know. So we have a politics system in the game now, which represents the internal power struggle of your faction. So if you're playing as Rome, you know, you'll be vying for supremacy with oh, there we are, lovely, gotta love a cavalry charge. So yeah, that's the mass at work, you know, because we have kind of mass ratings in the game now. And you know, you know, politics is an integral feature, an integral part of this world. You know, the struggle between, you know, you think about the triumvirate in ancient Rome, and you know, the struggle between the great houses. So you know, we kind of reflect that in the game. Right, I'm going to have to think about how to manage this now. I'm going to bring a little flanking force over here. I'm going to present the core unit of my army here, and I really, really want to get my horses out of protracted combat. So they don't do well in protracted combat. These Roman cavalry. They're good on the charge. You know, that's what you want to use them for. You want to hit and run with them. So. Oh no, I'm not going to send my general in. That'd be madness. Madness. Right, I've got a little flanking force over here. So while they're engaging the main body of my unit, my army, send those in there. See, the real key, you know, to winning any kind of melee combat is local superiority of forces and flanking. You know, you hit someone in the flank, and they get real scared. You know. So that shouldn't take long, because he's totally surrounded here. Yeah. How are my cavalry doing? Oh, I think I might have lost a couple of units. They took a little pain. Yeah, they did. I lost a couple of units of cavalry there. But they're off running off somewhere. Is that them? No, that's his things. Yeah. Well, I've still got a few cav left. Let's see what we can achieve with that. The cavalry also have a special ability here called Draco, which is it's a kind of morale debuff. So when you send your guys in against the enemy, they sort of go in with their trumpets blaring and their war cries, and you know, they'll have a nice morale sapping effect. So I'm going to get them involved in the main combat here. Looks like my levy slingers there are on the way out as well. Oh, they're being crushed to bits here. Yeah. So they're fighting a straight fight between these two units here. That's going to interfere with my plans here. Let's reroute you and reroute you, and let's get our Draco on. Oh, morale's wavering slightly. Oh, they've just come within range of the general. See, I'm charging uphill here, so they won't hit so hard. My general, don't want to get him involved in combat. Right. Okay, things are looking pretty even Stevens here. I might try and reorder my units a bit. Get them into some kind of decent fighting formation. Actually, you can stay there. Hold them up. Right, these Italian spearmen are running for it. Right, see, my plan here is to kind of try and envelop these three units of spearmen here.
Yeah, and you've got the unit already down there, sort of keeping them busy.
Exactly, they're just holding up the whole thing.
Love the persistent bodies.
Yeah.
Fields of persistent bodies.
Right, in you go, chaps. Use the whip. They'll charge in that bit harder. In we go. So they're pretty much surrounded now. Right, I've got one unit of cav left. I'm going to see if I can pick off these slingers who are just running around, probably aiming at my... Oh, look!
Whoa!
Whoa! That's my general. That's my general. My general falls to a mob. I'll be terribly, terribly embarrassed. Yeah, that could be bad. Right. Get out of there!
That's a real Benny Hill kind of situation you got going on.
Exactly, yeah. Trouble in the outfield. Right, okay, that's good. You see, that enveloping we did here, that's had a real effect on the morale there, so. Yeah, he wants my general so bad, look. Not a chance, buddy, he's on a horse. Here we go. Boom!
That guy got it.
He flew. Right, you see that just broke the unit immediately.
They lost Steve. He's their favorite guy.
No, Steve.
We'll never forget you, Steve.
I'll raise a monument to him. He was a hero.
Oh, there's so much red going on right now.
Yeah, yeah. See, they're just right on the edge. That mob there. And yeah, there's these mob. You know, these kind of bait mob units are just they're kind of so low morale to begin with. You know, they're never gonna kind of stick around for too long. I think we can rearrange this a bit. And let's take another unit out. See, just those few horses are causing them, you know, to panic even more. So. Right, so my levity slingers are out of ammo, so I'm just going to use them to hit the mob up. They'll go in, they'll chase, they'll get a few strikes in. My cavalry have engaged now as well. I don't think it'll be long for those. They're all pretty close to breaking. That's his general there. Look, Lucius Octavius Mesa.
He's hanging in there.
He is. Yeah. Well, they're always that much high morale, you know, generals. Still fighting away, look, they're still jabbing away with their spears. Yeah, it's not long for those guys. I somehow managed to keep my general out of the fray there, so.
I know, congratulations on not letting your general get totally mobbed.
Yeah, well, if I'd have, let's hit Inspire. No, actually, we've done it.
Too late.
We've done it. Yeah. You are surely fated by the gods. Right, so we did okay there. You know. You can see, you know, how much forces we've lost from each unit here. So we've actually, you know, we did well to keep it together there, I think. There we are. So that is effectively the end of the battle. We've won. We've routed the Samnite forces.
Congratulations.
There we are. It was a costly victory, but a victory nonetheless. So Rome is safe for another day.
You want to remind our viewers when this game's coming out?
Yeah, so we're out on September 3rd.
Okay.
So that's a worldwide release date. So pre-orders are obviously open now, and we're not doing any kind of specific retailer exclusives or anything like that. But we've got the Greek States Culture Pack, which is 3 extra factions from the Greek states, which you'll get for free if you pre-order. Okay. So that's Athens, Epirus, and Sparta, of course, as well. The mighty Spartans. Although, when the game kicks off at 272 BC, the Spartans have kind of, you know, fallen from power. Their moon is definitely waning at this point, so it's a challenge for you. You know, can you bring them back to their former glory, kind of thing. So.
And do you guys have any like big events, big announcements coming up?
Not right now. No, we're just focusing on, you know, getting Rome out the door at the moment. So we are you know, at that stage where we're crossing our own personal Rubicon here. You know, we're at the balance, polish, tweak. You know, make sure everything's kind of gelling together and working properly, and you know, we're just hitting the high polish mark. So yeah.
I might have heard something about this game showing up at PAX.
Ah, yes, we may well be at PAX, and we may well be playable. So yeah.
And that may well be first chance for a lot of people.
Absolutely. So if you come as PAX Prime in Seattle in September, then yeah, come and conquer. Come and conquer the Egyptians as the Romans, or indeed the other way around.
All right, now we'll go ahead and cut you loose here. Thank you so much for sitting down with us.
That was my pleasure.
Take care.
Cheers.